Hello once again. I am back for another video of the upcoming Dugout Steps PC baseball. I had a request for a video of some of the non-gameplay elements. This isn't going to be a comprehensive run through of them. I'm just going to do some of them now and then I'll do another video later. So what I'm going to show you is going into season play, which is probably where you will do most of your gameplay. When you load up the season, it loads up the most recent season that you've played with and automatically brings up the league standings for that season. You can see here it has the relevant standings and team stats for those teams. Up at the top here, you can see there's a drop down where you can switch easily between any seasons that you have created and you are in season replay mode. You can do a new season at any time. The way this works is you pick your base season. So say you have purchased the 2018 season, you would use that as your base. You would give it a name. You have the option of using all teams from that season, or if you only want to use a handful or one team, you can do that. So if we wanted to have a season with just the New York teams, we could pick New York American and New York National, and it's only going to load those teams. If we are going to do all teams, you can use the as played schedule, which will load all of the season schedule and all the starting pitchers and lineups for that season. You can also choose to start your season from a specific point. So if you only wanted to play, let's see, so we're in 2018. If you only wanted to play the last month of the season, you could start your season on September 1st, and it will start your season right from that date. Some other things to show here. If you click on schedule, that tab will show you a list of all of the games for that day. You can see I've played most of these on here. Any of the games that have been played, it shows you the final score, winning, losing, pitchers and saves. You can view the box score for that game. For games you have not played, it shows the probable starting pitchers. That'll only be there if you're using as played lineups. It shows the season series results between those teams. These two haven't played yet, so just tied at 0. You can get a preview of the game, the two starting pitchers, the teams facing against each other with their records and standings, and also some select season stats for those teams, so you can get a little comparison of those teams before you play. If you want to, you can add games to the schedule. You would probably most likely use this if you were not using the as played schedule, or if you were, say, creating playoff season. You can just pick which teams you want to add, say if it's a day game or not, and then add, and it will add it here to the season. You can get a printout report of the schedule for that day that you can easily copy and paste into Delphi forums or wherever. There's also a skip ahead option. If you use this, so we're on April 4th. Let's say you wanted to skip ahead the rest of this month to May 4th. What the game will do is use the real life results for any games played during that time frame and put those in as the results for those games. So let's say you wanted to play only Yankees games. What you would do is go to that day on the schedule. So we would play the Yankees game. Once that one's finished, you can then use skip ahead to skip to the next day on the schedule, and it will populate all the results for the other games that day with the results from the real life schedule. So that way you can play one team's games and still get the standings for the year. It doesn't populate stats. That's something I may look at into in a future release, but probably not for this one. The next item on here is the leaderboards. This gives you a view of the league. Still working on adding the stats for these, but here you can see it gives you some league-wide stats. So I've played 97 games, 4% out of the 2,400 games on the schedule. The league-wide ERA, batting average, on-base percentage, home runs. I'm going to fill this out with the rest of them here shortly. You can also look at the individual hitting leaders. This has a nice dashboard here of many stats. And if you click on the More button, it will populate an HTML report over here with all of the results for that statistic. You can also filter these. Say if you wanted to see only batters stats with bases loaded and 2 outs, you could do that. So we haven't had too many at-bats with that happening. You could also see how batters have performed against pitchers who are grooved. You could combine any of these. So if you want to see how batters have performed against pitchers who are ineffective and wild, you can do that. If you're using the pitch count add-on, you can even see how batters are performing in certain count situations. And you can see how batters are performing at home or away. You can also combine these. You can see how batters are doing against specific teams. So if you wanted to see how batters are doing against the Chicago White Sox, you can get those leaderboard reports. If you wanted to see how batters are doing against a specific pitcher, you can see that as well. Same goes for the pitching statistics. You have the same stat splits available. Pitchers against righties. Against specific batters. You could also look at the team leaderboards. So this gives you pretty much the same stats, but on a team basis. So you can see Houston has the best batting average in the league so far. Probably not unexpected. You can see the same statistics. What team is hitting the best with runners in scoring position. Runners in scoring position against Baltimore. Only a few teams have played them so far, so same here. Team pitching statistics. And then the final thing to show you here is the total stat register for every player. This takes a bit of time to load just because of the sheer number of statistics it's loading. So this will take a minute here to populate. And this gives you pretty much the same filters that we saw before with the league leaders. Like I said, this takes a few minutes to load just because of the sheer amount of data that it's loading. Alright, so we had 1,429 batters. Same thing as before. You can see their total stats. You can sort these, see who has the most plate appearances, most home runs. You can filter on teams, so if I wanted to see only New York Yankee batters, you can do that. If you wanted to see how batters were doing in a specific time frame, so if I only want to see like the last 3 days, it will show us the stats for batters over those last 3 days. You can do HTML reports of those. We'll give you the entire register there. Same deal with pitchers. And that's it as far as the statistics display goes. Gonna go back to the standing screen. If I click on a team row in the standing screen, it will bring up their team page, where you can see their previous game, next game. You can see the box score. You can see their standings for that, for their division. Similar to the league leaderboards, you get them on a team basis. So you see the Tigers are hitting 248 this year. They're 11th in the league. And then you see the top teams compared to them. They have only 4 home runs. They're 23rd in the league. You can get the leader report there. You can see the team hitting leaders. Jacoby Jones is leading the team in hitting. Pitching leaders. I need to fix that one. Here you can see some of the team stats up here. You can see their roster. Same deal as with the league-wide stats screen. You can do all of your filtering. Here you can also change a player's status if you wanted to put them on the injured list. As of today, you could put them on for 10 days. This is all, you have to manage this all manually. The game does not automatically take players off of the injured list when you have reached the limit there. You can see their usage. There's this little bar chart here. I don't know if anybody is getting close. But this will increase as they get close to the amount of games that they actually played for the year. You see their status, all the men that are on 25-man roster and all the ones that are inactive. These players that are in italics are pitchers or hitters that are also have pitcher cards. Then we'll go over to the pitcher screen. You can see the pitcher's fatigue. This is their rating on the card, just so you can get an idea of who is starters and who is relievers. Usage there, status, last 5. I need to put a legend here to tell what these mean, but it basically gives you an idea of their usage over the last 5 games, how many innings they pitched, which games they pitched in. And also next start, if you're using as played lineups, it'll show you how many days out their next start is supposed to be. And then all of the relevant stats here. I'm not going to show it now because I still have a little bit of work to do, but if you double click on a player's row, it'll bring up their player card, which I will show in another video. You can see the team's month-by-month schedule. You can play games from here rather than going back to the main season schedule. You can see the box scores. You can customize some of the team items. You can change their primary color easily. If we didn't want them to be this blue. I think one of the things people like to do is customize logos. There's a couple of different ways you can do it, but one really easy way is if you go to sportslogos.net, And let's say I wanted to change this home logo to this blue and orange one. I just drag and drop that right in there, and your logo is updated. And then also transaction screen. This just gives you a list of all the transactions that the team has done. So that is all I have to show for the moment. I'm going to finish some more things up, and then I will show you some of the player information that you can see. And then hopefully I'll have some more gameplay videos soon, and then a release. So thank you.